All right, let's get real. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was told he'd never make it in Hollywood. Critics called him just a wrestler. Studios rejected him. The media mocked his transition. But today, he's the highest paid actor in the world, worth over $800 million. What changed? Not the toxic people around him. He changed. He built what the ancient Stoics called an unshakable mind. Here's the truth. Toxic people test your boundaries because they think you won't do anything about it. They criticize, they manipulate, they disrespect you, and expect you to just take it. But 2,000 years ago, the Stoics figured out how to handle this. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal from his closest allies. Epictetus was enslaved and abused, yet they remained unshakable. Today, I'm breaking down the exact 5 Stoic techniques that The Rock and countless other successful people use to stay powerful around toxic people. No drama, no losing your cool, just pure power. And if you're ready to take control, drop a shield emoji in the comments right now. Let's dive in. Technique number 1, the emotional firewall. Here's what neuroscience tells us. When toxic people attack you, your amygdala, the emotional center of your brain, reacts in milliseconds. It triggers fight or flight before you can even think. This is called an amygdala hijack. But here's what The Rock discovered early in his career. Visualization creates actual neuroplastic changes in your brain. It builds mental armor. In his book and interviews, he talks about how he'd visualize success even when everyone told him he'd fail. He'd picture himself immune to the negativity. He'd see the criticism, but it wouldn't penetrate his mental shield. Here's how it works. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself surrounded by a transparent shield, like bulletproof glass. You can see the toxic person clearly. You can hear their words. But their negativity bounces off this shield. It cannot penetrate. Their anger, their manipulation, their criticism, it all deflects harmlessly away. Real-world example, your coworker walks in already agitated. They start tearing apart your project. In the past, your chest would tighten, your hands would shake. But now, you activate your firewall. You see their words hitting the shield and falling to the ground. You remain calm. You respond with facts, not emotions. This is not about ignoring the problem. It's about protecting your mental state so you can respond powerfully. The Rock practiced this for years before every audition, every meeting, every public appearance. When Hollywood executives doubted him, his firewall was already up. Practice this visualization for 2 minutes every morning. When the toxic moment comes, your brain will already know what to do. Comment firewall if you're going to practice this today. But what happens when they catch you off guard? That's where technique number 2 becomes critical. And this one, The Rock credits it for saving his career during his darkest moment. Technique number 2, the Stoic pause. Here's the problem. Toxic people want you to react immediately. They want you angry, defensive, emotional, because that gives them control. But neuroscience reveals something powerful. A 3-second pause is enough time for your prefrontal cortex to override your amygdala. 3 seconds. That's all you need to shift from emotional reaction to rational response. The Rock learned this the hard way. In 1995, he had just $7 in his pocket. His football career was over. His wrestling dreams seemed impossible, and toxic voices were everywhere. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. Give up. He could have reacted with anger, with desperation, with defeat. But instead, he paused. He breathed. He asked himself, what can I control right now? That pause changed everything. Here's the technique. When a toxic person says something that triggers you, do this. Breathe in for 3 seconds. Hold for 1 second. Exhale for 3 seconds. In that 7-second window, your brain chemistry literally changes. Your cortisol drops. You regain control. Real-world example. Your family member makes a passive-aggressive comment at dinner. Must be nice to have so much free time. In the past, you'd snap back immediately. But now, you pause, you breathe, you count to 3. Then you respond calmly, "I've been managing my time well, thank you." No escalation, no drama. Pure power. The pause is your secret weapon. It turns their attack into your advantage. Type pause in the comments if you've ever reacted too quickly and regretted it. The pause gives you control over your reactions. But what about controlling what you actually say? That's what technique number 3 solves. And this is where most people completely fail. You decide to leave a toxic job. Your colleague says, "Why would you leave? This is such a good opportunity." In the past, you'd launch into a 10-minute explanation about your reasons, your goals, your plans. But now, you simply say, "It's the right decision for me." That's it. No justification, no defense, just a calm statement of fact. When you stop explaining, you stop giving them power over you. Here's the key. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. It says, "I don't need your approval." The Rock didn't convince his critics. He just proved them wrong through action. And that's exactly what you'll do. Comment silence if you struggle with over-explaining your choices. But stopping explanations is just the beginning. What if you need to create actual physical distance? That's where technique number 4 comes in. And this one might surprise you. Technique number 4, strategic distance. The Stoics believed in living virtuously, but they weren't naive. They knew that some people are toxic by nature, and sometimes the most powerful move is to simply walk away. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Translation: don't engage, don't fight, just remove yourself. Here's what most people don't know about The Rock. He's incredibly selective about who gets access to his time and energy. He's talked openly about cutting toxic people from his circle, even family members and old friends who drained him. In a 2018 interview, he said, "I protect my energy fiercely. If someone consistently brings negativity, drama, or toxicity, I create distance, not out of anger, out of self-preservation." Here's the reality. You cannot change toxic people. You can set boundaries. You can communicate clearly. But if they refuse to respect you, distance is your answer. Real-world example. You have a friend who constantly criticizes your decisions. Every conversation leaves you drained. You've tried setting boundaries. You've tried explaining. Nothing changes. So you make a choice. You stop initiating contact. You stop attending events where they'll be. You create space. This isn't about being cruel. It's about self-preservation. The Stoics called this choosing your associations wisely. You cannot control toxic people, but you can absolutely control your proximity to them. Here's what strategic distance looks like in practice. Limit phone calls. Decline invitations. If you must interact, keep it brief and surface level. Protect your energy like it's your most valuable resource, because it is. The Rock surrounds himself with people who elevate him. He's built a team that supports his vision, and he's ruthless about protecting that circle. Type distance if you know someone you need to create space from. Now you've built your firewall. You've mastered the pause. You've stopped over-explaining. You've created distance. But there's one final technique that ties everything together, and it's the most powerful one. This is the technique that took The Rock from $7 to $800 million. Technique number 5, the dichotomy of control. This is the foundation of all Stoic philosophy. And once you understand it, toxic people lose their power over you completely. Here's the principle. There are things you control and things you don't control. That's it. 2 categories. What you control, your thoughts, your reactions, your choices, your effort, your values. What you don't control, other people's opinions, other people's behavior, other people's respect, the past, most external outcomes. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." The Rock lives by this principle every single day. When critics said he couldn't act, he didn't try to change their minds. He focused on what he could control: his craft, his work ethic, his preparation. When movies flopped early in his career, and they did, he didn't spiral into self-doubt. He asked, "What's within my control?" The answer? His next choice, his next role, his next workout, his next audition. Real-world example. Your boss publicly criticizes your work in a meeting. It's unfair. It's humiliating. In the past, you'd spiral. Why do they hate me? What did I do wrong? How can I fix this? But now, you apply the dichotomy of control. You cannot control your boss's behavior. You cannot control what they said, but you can control your response. You stay calm. You address the criticism professionally. And later, you decide whether this environment aligns with your values. This technique doesn't make the situation pleasant, but it gives you power in every situation. When The Rock faced rejection after rejection in Hollywood, he didn't waste energy trying to control casting directors' opinions. He controlled his preparation, his attitude, his persistence, and that's why he won. When you focus only on what you control, you become unshakable. Comment control if this principle just clicked for you. So there you have it. 5 Stoic techniques to stay powerful around toxic people. The emotional firewall. Visualize protection before the attack comes. The Stoic pause. 3 seconds to shift from reaction to response. Stop explaining yourself. Silence is strength, not weakness. Strategic distance. Protect your energy by controlling proximity, the dichotomy of control. Focus only on what you can control. These aren't just theories. These are battle-tested strategies from people who faced real adversity and remained unbroken. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire surrounded by betrayal. Epictetus was enslaved and abused. The Rock went from $7 in his pocket to becoming the highest-paid actor in the world. They all mastered their minds. They all became legends. And here's the truth. You have that same power. Starting today. The Rock didn't wait for toxic people to change. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for the perfect moment. He just started. One technique at a time. One day at a time. One choice at a time. Here's your action step. Pick one technique from this video. Just one. Practice it for the next 7 days. Then come back and tell me in the comments which one changed your life. Will it be the firewall? The pause? Strategic distance? You decide. And if you want more Stoic wisdom to transform your mindset, subscribe to the Zen Narrator and turn on notifications. I'm dropping powerful content every week to help you build an unshakable mind, just like The Rock. Drop a shield emoji in the comments if you're ready to become untouchable. Remember, toxic people only have the power you give them. Take it back. The Rock did it. The Stoics did it. And now, it's your turn. Stay powerful, stay stoic, stay zen.